Okay, we're in the council of the mommy den. Let's discuss. So, I think that they should add a hardcore option to retail World of Warcraft, similar to WoW Hardcore or Classic Hardcore. So, as we all know, Classic Hardcore is an immense success. People are playing it, trying it out right and left. I think more people are trying hardcore type game modes than ever before, right? I think that this is something that people normally abstain from. They don't want to play hardcore, they don't want to interact with it because they don't want to lose their stuff. Classic is in a unique position where a lot of people have already played the game to the bone. So adding a new twist on this thing, adding a little bit of lime juice on top, adds that extra flavor to an already good vanilla, right? So people have played this game, they know Classic WoW, and they use hardcore as a vessel to find a renewed enjoyment in the game. Now, the reason I think that they should add hardcore to retail is because of the community garnered by hardcore WoW and Classic. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that argue like this is something that only Classic can, replicate. But honestly, the thing that creates this situation where you have community is having people playing the game, right? And what they did, Classic WoW Hardcore has two servers. They have the two servers that they condense all the hardcore population in, and then obviously have phasing removed to where you are trapped with those people. And that's a good thing, right? There's these two servers and people are densely populated, so you're forced to survive with the community at hand. That's what creates the community. It's the people. And retail WoW has them by the boatloads. And you can argue, like, hey, these people are just coming back for the new raid, full, high, all server populations here. But the reality is people do play retail. A lot of people play retail, not as much as it used to, and retail has its fair share of issues. I've voiced that opinion quite a bit to length. But I'm looking for a new twist, and if we can't do that with, story progression or, things like that, I feel like hardcore is the answer to that situation. If they created, 5 servers or something like that, removed server phasing, and put you in retail, I feel like it would genuinely be a good time, and we would experience similar things to what we get in Classic World of Warcraft. Now, retail WoW is a harder game, right? So leveling is going to be much easier, but the end game is much harder. But I don't think that's necessarily a deterrent for a lot of people, right? A lot of people do like a challenge. I think you could argue that Classic WoW, adding the hardcore mode, was the additional challenge. It took an easy game and added something challenging to it. Classic WoW, the gameplay mechanics of it, is easy, but the grind of it is what's the hard part. But it already took the grind and added a challenging element, like, hey, now I can't mass pull packs, things like that. And I think if they added that in retail, it would add some spice to the leveling. They would have to obviously remove the WoW token and level boosts in the game. That would be absolutely insane. I feel like that goes without saying. But they would have to do that. I know, Blizzard, it's going to hurt. And yes, retail World of Warcraft is a harder game than Classic World of Warcraft, right? We knew that. Everybody knows this. There's more abilities going off. There is more abilities that you have at your disposal. There's so much more going on than what there was in Classic WoW, gameplay-wise, that it begs the question, why would we add another layer of difficulty? Well, for that, you kind of just have to accept the premise that the average World of Warcraft player is better than what they used to be in 2004. 2004 was a really long time ago, okay? A lot of people were brand new to gaming in general. It had a boom in like the 2010s, gaming did, and ever since we've been growing populations of gamers, and gamers that started in 2004 honed their skills, and they've just become better overall. Now, are there still bad World of Warcraft players and just bad gamers in general? Yes, obviously, that everybody knows that. But I would say your average player skill has like exponentially increased from what it was in 2004. So that's why we have a mass amount of players that can come from retail and just completely dominate in Classic World of Warcraft because the mechanics are just that much easier. People in my guild that are not great, right, are able to take on Classic WoW and make it look easy. That's the disparity, right? And just to play devil's advocate and kind of argue against myself here, right? Maybe that's what made Classic WoW Hardcore so special, or what makes it so special. It took an already easy game and added a sprinkle of cayenne on top of it, just enough spice to add some extra flavor to it and, give that renewed, refresh experience. And that's the thing, is retail hardcore will not be for everybody. Hell, classic hardcore right now is not for everybody. Not everybody likes a hardcore experience. They like to kill the mobs, kill the boss, and keep all their loot, and that's fine. And you can still do that. I'm just saying, as easy as it was to flip the switch and turn on for Classic WoW Hardcore, I feel like we're missing a lot of hidden potential. I mean, think about it. 5 new servers, or however many they want to dedicate, turn phasing off on those, flip the WoW token off, and flip level boosts off for those servers. I feel like that could be a really good time. I can also hear the arguments right now of saying, well, what about when you get to Mythic Plus? You get to level 70 and you start doing Mythic Plus, what then? It's already toxic, it would just end up being a mess. Well, it's always been Blizzard's job to manage crazy toxic people that say very deranged things, which they've obviously done a fantastic job, whether that's Classic or retail WoW. But I think by doing this, you get a whole different demographic of player inside of those servers, right? When you play Classic WoW Hardcore right now, people are a little bit more serious. Well, at least when you get past level 10. There's always going to be people that log in and mess around or don't care, but they're a little bit more serious. You can tell. When you go into a dungeon together in Classic WoW Hardcore, there's that little bit of anxiety in you that is kind of like, oh, like, I hope this guy doesn't roach out. I hope he doesn't suck. Stay focused. Like, let's do this together. It adds this sense of camaraderie that I think would follow over into Mythic Plus. There's always going to be toxic people, right? There's always going to be people that are the worst to do things with. This is something that should be looked at as the minority and not the majority. There's always going to be people, regardless of the video game that you play, that want to ruin your time. And you can't use that as an excuse to not try things because there's somebody that's going to be a nuisance to society. And that's kind of the point, right? This is what I'm missing, is community. And when you go back to play Classic or Classic Hardcore, you get that community. You feel the community. You make weird acquaintances in your travels around Azeroth. And I feel like that's something that is a little bit lacking in retail now. And if it is as easy as it was for Classic to flip a switch and turn on Hardcore, I don't see why not. Try it out. See how the community comes together to overcome the one life challenge in retail WoW. It is a harder game. People will try to be a little bit more focused, probably try a little bit harder. Things will be a little bit more scary. Maybe you'll actually invite somebody to your group for those 3-person quests. You never know. And another thing, like entertainment-wise, I feel like it would be gold, right? Think about the World First races. How many people watch those? People are interested in that. If you're anything like me, you just like to check in, but still it's entertaining. See the last boss kill. In hardcore retail WoW, you could have World First races on these new bosses that have insane difficulty, and for those teams to achieve that, it heightens that level of achievement and also puts more eyes on World of Warcraft. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Am I just having a fever dream? Is this stupid of me to even think? Let me know. Like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good one.